Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Jumpstart, our mix along for the month. This morning we're going to be mixing our analogous color scheme, and we're just going to do color runs today in general, but we're getting ready for the portrait of Ellie. So let's take a minute, let everybody get settled in, see who's here, and then we'll give you a little more details about what's going on and how we're doing it today. Actually, I'm going to change my mind on that. I'm going to tell you guys how I've got it set up, and then we'll say good morning to everybody. That way you guys have a chance to catch up if you need to. So what's happening today is we're going to make 3 runs. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to run them from dark to light. Okay? And so my 3 runs that we're doing, our 3 runs, is we're going to have a neutral run. And so this is black. And the black is going to stay pretty neutral and run to white. Then we have our cool run. Remember yesterday we talked about how Payne's gray is going to take that whole side of the blue for us in the color wheel. And we're labeling all those colors over there cool. So Payne's gray, and that's going to run towards white, but it's really probably, well, if it had to, it would go all the way to white. But just so you see it's a little bit different. Well, you guys going to be able to see that? I don't know. It's so light, but let's just put a light cool here. There we go. All right, so we covered neutral, and we've got our ivory black. We've got our cool from our Payne's gray. And we have our warm with burnt umber. Okay, our warm is going to run down to be more of a cad yellow, right? We can add some white in that to get it even lighter. So those are our runs. To remind you what I have on my palette here, I have all my warms, I have my cool, and I have my neutrals. Ivory black, white, I'm using Flake white replacement this morning. Flake white, titanium white, doesn't matter. Payne's gray. Okay, so Payne's grays are cool. White and blacks are neutral. Then all of our warms. All right, cad yellow light, yellow ochre. This is cad yellow deep, but cad yellow deep or cad orange, burnt umber, and cad red light. So warm colors, cool, neutral. Okay, so now that we've got that set up, let's see what we got here. Let's see what we have here. Should I leave that down so you guys could see it? And I'll just talk to you. Let's see, we got Shakti here, ready to go, and Miss L. Miss L, this is all for you. Did you realize that? All these people are working just for you. Man, that's got to feel good. Special, special, special. Queen for the week. Miss Katie, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Good to see you. Aloha. Miss Claudia, holding down the Cambria coast. Hello, ho, ho. And up north, we got Janny. Janny. Always throwing me for a loop. Miss Susan's keeping the heat at bay, I hope. Oof. Ooh. Reenie's not much better over there. We'll get through it. It'll cool down. If not, you guys will have to come over and visit us. We won't be much. All right, and let's see, Janny. Yeah, you see the bluish. Right on for the white right there. Or for our cool. And Miss Cindy. All right, we've got a full house, everybody. A full house. So, we've given you about 5 minutes to get situated. So we're going to start this in just a second. Everybody ready to go? Everybody ready to go? So let's start off simple to kind of warm up, get in the mood. Again, I want to remind you, if your paint gets too tacky, if you're using too much work, I've got just a little bit of oil here. It doesn't take much oil at all. If you're not very sensitive with amounts, you're going to be more happy with your medium. But it was getting expensive, me using all that Merage to show you guys how to mix, so I just broke out a little oil. But that'll loosen up the paint so that it moves better, right? Even while we're mixing paint, we want it to feel good. What does it take to make this feel good? What does feel good mean? Well, feel good means it's going to do what you want it to do. All right, so we've got black. And we're going to have about total black. Now, I want to remind you guys something too. I'm going to make 2 piles here of black. If you have texture in your paint, do you see? We've got texture and we've got flat. This is not a solid value. So you're unable to see the value of that paint when it's textured like that. So, if you're really wanting to see what's happening here, get these paint piles flat. Flat, flat, flat. Look at that, I'm already making a mess. Already making a mess demonstrating for you guys. How dedicated is that? Okay, let's get this highlight off the light here. Come on, get yourself in order, Jason. All right, here we go. Did I spill all my oil? Nope, still got a little left. So, make sure your paint is fluid enough, but not so fluid that it's runny. And that on the palette here, you leave it flat. Okay, that's preliminaries. I hope you guys are ready. So we're going to have a lot pure black here. And then as we work across, we're going to have less and less black. On this end. I don't think I've got enough white for this. We're going to have solid white here. And we're going to get less and less and less and less as we go down. Notice I'm not mixing color swatches. This is one continuous run, and we want to practice trying to get those even tones. A flat paint so that it reads. Then we're going to pull a little bit of this white. Again, we want to see how many tones we can get here. Whoops. I don't want that dark there. I want that dark back there. To be careful. Be careful. Alright, if I had a singing voice, I'd sing to you guys when I do this, and because of copyright, we can't have music. So, maybe we'll just listen to the sweet sound of the palette knives all working on all those palettes out there. So, like anything, this takes some practice. I imagine the first couple of times you do this, you're not going to get anything like this. It's going to woo! But keep practicing. If you want to paint, you got to have control over what the paint does. And with practice and intent, you'll get more of that. Now this is a huge jump right there, isn't it? Yeah, so let's see if we can't get this a little bit closer. So add a little bit more black there. We can even try to do a step in between here. Well, you gotta have enough paint too. If you see the glass, again, that value is not gonna read, or the wood, or whatever's you're using for your palette there. For oil, in my opinion, there is nothing better than a glass palette. The reflection's a little but all else considered, it's very, very convenient. By far the easiest cleanup. Right, the paper palettes are just going to pick up on you when you try to do this. Right, so those paper palettes are going to be very difficult to do this kind of sensitive mixing on. So if you do have a paper palette, I really recommend taping that thing down on all four sides, all the way. I mean, tape it down solid so it can't pop up with you. That's going to mess up your mixing. Right, so your touch, we want the flat paint. How's your looking? Are you starting to get a run of gray here? Again, if it's yours is a little spotty, be patient with yourself. Right, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've done this many, many times. So it's not reasonable for you to just out of the gate expect to do this at this level. But that does not mean you don't practice. If it doesn't come, what it means is you practice more, not less. Somehow we got in our mind, oh, if I'm not very good at that, I'm not going to work at it. No. No, that's inside out. You got to work on your weaknesses. Play to your strengths and work on your weaknesses. And you all have strengths, whether you realize it or not. Sometimes when we start, we think, oh, only people that can copy and this and that. No, 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 no. That's really not what art's about. It's about much different issues than that. And all of that stuff can be trained. Right? If you're talking illustration or something, that stuff's going to come in real handy. Alright, well, I'm halfway satisfied with that. The camera's not picking up in much of this difference down here. And just because this is a 30-minute show, we've got to move along. So, this was by far the easiest, right? Because it's just black and white, and there's no swirling back and forth off of that color. So that was a good one to warm up on. Let's try our cool now. And for our cool in this palette, when I say cool, I'm talking color wheel cool, not hue cool, but color wheel cool on the cool side of the color wheel. And that's our Payne's Gray. Okay, so we're going to have a good little chunk there, and then we're going to start getting less and less and less. Now you can't do this even all the way because different pigments have different strengths. Right? One's undoubtedly going to be stronger than the other. Some pigments much stronger than other pigments. So keep your eyes open. Alright, I didn't leave me enough of that, did I? So let's mix up a good pile of that, of our light end. And then once we're done with this, we'll take a look and see what we have. Alright, and I'd like that to read just slightly cooler than it does. So again, just get a little bit of that Payne's Gray. It doesn't take a lot. Again, don't dump it in there. Just set it over to the side and then work your way into it. Alright, and then after I know how it's going to affect it, that time I just stuck it right in because I have enough experience to know. Alright, that's going to do. So that's slightly cool. I hope you guys can see it on your monitor. This almost feels like that, but even against that, it's a little bit cooler. You feel that coolness against that warmer gray? Alright, I didn't mix up very much paint. Is this going to work? Let's see, let's see, let's see. Again, if you're using oil, it just takes so little. See how strong this Payne's Gray is to this white. Right? And it looks like that Payne's Gray is pushing its weight around pretty well. So we may have to be a little bit less on the gray and a little bit more on the white. Let's see if we can't keep these somewhat in the same ballpark as we run through this. The value on the top and the value on the bottom. So like where would this value be? Well, right now, the value is going to be somewhere over here, isn't it? Right? And as we do that, you're going to be able to see the differences. Stiff, stiff, stiff. There we go. Stiff, stiff, stiff. Make sure we're loose enough. How are we doing on time? All right, we got 10 minutes. Got 10 minutes. You guys doing okay keeping up? How's this pace for you guys? No need to stop and answer. But I would be curious to know from you guys the pace of these little workouts once you have a chance. Being relatively new, we want to make sure we do something that's comfortable for you guys to work along with. Of course, you can come back and watch this on YouTube and then pause it and take your time. So if you're brand new, you're probably going to have to do that. But hopefully, a little bit of experience, you'll get a little quicker and be able to keep up. And more important than that, right, this isn't about doing exactly what I'm doing, but what I'm doing is I'm leading you through this color, but you have to be aware of what your paint is doing. Not what my paint is doing, but what is your paint doing, right? And your awareness in the color and what it's going to do is going to grow from these exercises. And more than anything, that's what this is about, is to grow your color awareness, right? Build your color dexterity. Well, Janny's having a good time. Awesome. Awesome. Oh. All right, so this is interesting. So Janny says her Payne's gray is not as blue as mine, and it's gambling too. Well, there's two explanations of that. One is, what white are you using? Right, I'm using the Flake white replacement from Gamblin'. If you're using that and that, chances are it's the monitor, your color monitor, right? So, because these should more or less be exactly the same. All right, there's going to be slight variations maybe from batch to batch, but pretty much exactly the same. But your monitors, and then in my camera and out your monitor and into your eyes, that probably doesn't look the same as I'm seeing right here. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you do this, that use what I'm doing and do your own and see what happens. Because again, just watching this and intellectually looking at it's not going to get you much. You got to get down in here and get that palette into the pigment, that palette knife into the pigment. All right, so this is a little bit rough, but for the sake of time, we got to move along, and I want to leave enough time for probably our most difficult. Is most difficult the right word to say? Well, we have so much variety in here. There's a lot more wiggle waggle we can do with our warms. Wiggle waggle, that is a technical term, by the way. Yep, technical term. Oh, so Janie says she's using titanium white. Yeah, and that'll make a difference. And so that's an interesting thing to know too. Wait, how does titanium white mix different than flake white replacement? Right? How does Gamblin's Payne Gray differ from Utrecht's Payne Gray or Vasari or Old Holland? Right? Those are all, because there's going to be little variations. And again, hopefully as an artist, you don't want to just copy what I'm doing. Hopefully as an artist, you have your own things you want to do. For a little while, we need to come together and do the same things so we can grow your awareness, right? And I can teach effectively if everybody's doing their own thing. It's kind of hard to bring the group along together. But as we come together, it'll be easier and easier. It's John, not Janny. You want me to call Janny John? Why don't we call her Janny John? That way we got it. That's her husband's account, Reenie. I have Flake white, and there is a difference. I think titanium is whiter, or maybe more opaque. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go into that right now because I'm going to mess my head up. Thinking technically. But yeah, and let's look that up. Maybe we'll have an answer tomorrow for that. So we've got burnt umber. Our next value here would be red. Now remember, more than a particular color right here, I just want to stay in that warm side of the wheel. We went to a particular spot in that warm side of the wheel yesterday, but today I'm just going to do a warm color run. Tomorrow we're going to get a little more specific on the flesh and all of that. But today it's just a general color run. No, it's very good points, Claudia. Very, very good points. If I put my mind over there, I might lose what we're doing. Lose what we're doing. Let's see, is that slight? I think those are about the same. Really? This is a higher chroma. So, with this, what do we got? We take our burnt umber. Sometimes like that red's really strong, so we got to be careful with how much of that red we use. And that's what I mean. Some pigment, look at that. A little bit of red just totally dominated that. Oof. So why don't we just set this back up here as a palette color. But all this is red and burnt umber. So it actually belongs right between there, but there's more room here. So let me bring this way up here. Right, so a lot of this is you're learning pigment management. Whoa, the cad red. That just totally took over the whole conversation. Okay, so you know you have to be gentle when you're using cad red. It's very powerful. Right? It's not water. It's like Everclear alcohol. It'll knock your head clean off if you're not careful. Ugh. Makes me sick just saying that word. Okay, the point is that red, and look, is it hard to see the value there? Because it's waft. Part of that is burnt umber is so dry. It doesn't like to hold on to the oil. And so even right here, it's already dried out. And so the consistency of the wet and dry even really matters. And we gotta have enough paint. I'm getting a little too thin here. Right, and some paints just mix easier. Boom, boom, look at this. How long is it taking me to do this? We almost, boom. Supposed to have 3 minutes in the show left. Takes what it takes. So just fair warning, we probably will run 5 minutes late, maybe 10 today. But I'd rather go a little bit over and finish this lesson than stick strictly to our time limits. So let's level that out as best we can. Level this out as best we can. And this is probably a little closer, so again, that red's making it hard to kind of control all this. And our burnt umber. Burnt umber. Yellow ochre. Yellow ochre. I hope I said yellow ochre. Kind of in my color mixing space. Again, that's a cadmium. So super powerful. So let's just set that. Look at how much, boom. Lots of power there. Again, we're not going to be able to make paintings out of this until we organize a painting movement and the idea of the composition and all that. But let's explore today. Tomorrow we're going to spend more time on our 4 values. Hopefully, if there's time for that. If there's time, let's see. So we got to start lightening this up a little bit. Why don't we just put these together? Because of the sake of time. All right, look, 8:30. So, let's see. I don't think anybody that I know has to go right at 8:30. But if you do, it will be recorded, and we're almost finished here. What I'm going to do is just finish this, and then let's talk about what we have, take a look at it, and we'll call it a morning so you guys can get to work. Get to work in the studio, I hope. I hope. Right, take your time with this and really start to explore the color. And how could I get even, I could add a little bit of white back down here, couldn't I? Like there was white in that. And we could go more and more and more. All right, let's have a look at what we got here. Gotta run, but all right. Bye, Janny. Thank you. Sorry for running over. Nice. Good, Katie. Good. Okay, so what I want you to see here is that, look, we have 3 distinct colors. Right, and you see how clean those are? So I'm going to suggest a better painting rather than now going here and seeing how many other colors we're doing. What if you used these 3 to do what you needed to do? Right? In other words, these are now your palette colors. Well, then how could you neutralize that? You want a little blue, but you don't want it like that. We could do that. Or what happens if I go like that? So in other words, any in-between color I'm going to get will come from these. And then that way, you're going to stay harmonious and have runs. I saw a little yellow on that. I should have done that. Let's go up here. Right? And then those things can just literally run together. So what do we have now, guys? Have we set up a high value color? Right? We haven't got perfect because of time, right? And then we could always take this and set it on this side of that gray. So what happens though, instead of working with that limited colors, it's not very limited, there's a lot here, is we try to go back to here, and we try to go back to here, and we try to, and then everything's so out of harmony, everybody's yelling at one another, nobody's getting along, you can't hear what anything's saying. So it's almost like sticking to one topic. Right? So we can have a really good conversation about this topic. But if we talk about topic A and topic B and topic C and topic Z and topic X and topic 1 and topic 3 and topic 5 and topic 7, we're not going to, I mean, we can kind of glance the surface, but we're not going to get into any understanding. Right? We can kind of be updated or whatever, but we're really never going to get into it. Do you guys see how really beautiful this can all become? Now again, you can't take all of this and just throw it on a canvas and expect it to be beautiful, right? So as the month goes on, we're going to talk about what you do with this. All right, and tomorrow we're going to talk a little bit more after we've done this. We're going to be a little bit more pinpointed, precise for our portrait reference. Okay, 8:35. I think that's a good place to call it. See what's heading up here. All right. Yeah, fabulous neutrals. You know, yesterday in class we talked about how, you know, pretty much everybody, right? If you can buy the tube of paint, you can get out here. Black and white are getting you in here. But what happens, the difference between masters and amateurs is the master knows, I don't want all of these, but we're going to keep our warms right here. We'll keep our cools right here. And then within this, we've got a little play. Within this, we've got a little play. But we have warm, cool, and neutral. And within that, we can go up and down the value scale and go towards this hue, towards that, a little more chroma, a little less chroma. And a master will build a painting from those threads. Right? What an amateur does is they get a little thread in there, then they cut it and they go buy a brighter thread, and they get in it and they cut it and they go buy a brighter thread, and then they cut it and then let me get that thread, and then and so there's no harmony to it. But by doing this, what you're going to do is most everybody can kind of get in here, just a little bit. They'll get out here, but you're missing most of the color wheel in here. And by the way, this is where the beauty really occurs in color. Not out here, but harmony inside a little bit. Okay, so this is what we're starting to get with some of these colors. And if we had more time, you know, you get into greens, we can get to the whole. Out of these, we can pretty much go all the way around here. Even if we don't have certain colors, here at the neutral, we can still pull it this way. All right, I'm getting wound up, so I'm going to settle down there because we've already covered a lot. This is just exercises today. Tonight we'll be back. Let's see, what is tonight? Tonight is Tuesday, so we're going to be back with Sketch Club tonight. Hopefully the technology will cooperate. That'll be on Facebook at 7 o'clock. And we'll be sketching Miss Ellie. And I'm going to talk about the big masses and really creating form. I want to get you guys out of this outlining stuff, and get you drawing and painting form. All right. Love you guys a ton. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you. All right. Shakti, we did. Shakti and Ellie did it. Awesome. All right, Katie, thanks for getting up so early for us. Miss Susan, stay cool today. All right. Have a great one, everybody. And we'll see you tonight, and then tomorrow morning we'll mix again. So until then, have a good one. Bye, guys.